You know, that song does have the beat that you just want to move your shoulders. You know, with R&B music, you want to move the lower half. You know, with that type of music, you want to move the top half. Now, you said 8 years ago, we're going to back up a bit here, that you got into jazz. Now, what made you switch from the salsa to the jazz? I mean, why didn't you go to R&B, which most black artists, you know, go that way, but instead you went to jazz? What made you go that way?
Well, what drew me to jazz is the fluidity of the lines, the way the music, the harmonies and the melodies, just everything just moves in such a way that I just enjoy it, and I like to, well, I guess possibly too, coming from a classical background, there is a lot of similarity there, but jazz allows the freedom of expression that classical, you know, is more interpretation because everything's already written, and in the jazz you take it from there and go on and put your own creativity into it, and that's what drew me to jazz.
Okay, now, your highest interest, you know, is in jazz, but currently you're touring, so to speak, with an R&B band.
Yeah, I'm playing around Los Angeles and Orange County with an R&B band. This is the first R&B band that I've played with, and it's different. It took me a while to adjust because, for one thing, I have to play less and groove more, you know, because everything has to be locked right in there. And, well, with any type of music, it has to be locked in, but with R&B, it's just, you know, that's where it all is. It's all in the, you know, the pocket.
The groove,
yeah.
You know, like they say, it's all in the mix. Now, out of the three, the salsa, the jazz, the R&B, you've done some gospel. What is your goal? I mean, which one do you want to just lock in on and say, this is what I want to do, and just go for it, out of all the type of music that you know how to play?
Well, what I want to do is just get my own music, you know, to a point where I have my own band playing my own music, and I just write whatever I'm inspired to write, although most people tell me it does sound like jazz. You know, I wouldn't call it jazz myself, but that seems to be the most.
So basically you just want your own style, but don't you feel that would create a conflict for the people in the record stores? It's like, I go in, I say, do you have the new Kathy Allman album? And I would know what section to look under. I would know whether to look on the jazz, whether to look on the R&B, or whether to look on the salsa, because they do, pop or rock, they do separate the music that way. So where would you want them to put your album?
Well, if they want to put it in jazz, that's fine. If they want to put it in fusion, that's fine too. You know, whatever category someone would decide it should be in, just as long as it's there, I wouldn't mind.
Okay, so we go in there, we're going to have to guess, huh? Where is Kathy Allman's new album?
Yeah, well, you might look in the jazz section, maybe in the Latin section, or, you know, but.
So what are you doing as far as getting you say you want your own group. Do you, I know you want a record deal someday, correct?
That would be nice.
That would be nice. Okay, and you write your own music, and on the songs that we're going to hear tonight, the one we just heard, and the next song we're going to hear, did you write those songs? I
wrote the words and the music for both of them, and I'm playing the keyboards on both of them.
Okay, and also the bass on one of them?
Well, the bass on the You Are Love, I'm playing the bass line on that. It's the keyboard bass. And Bill Pittman is playing the bass for the other song, and he's also doing all the drum programming.
Oh, okay. Well, since we're talking about the other song, what's the name of it again? The one that we're going to hear now?
Home in Your Arms.
Home in Your Arms, and that's a pretty song. Why don't we take a listen to Kathy Allman's next song called Home in Your Arms.
you in my arms again. I've been so many places and so very many miles. I've seen so many faces and so many smiles. But all this time I kept you locked away, far from my feelings, far from my heart. I never thought I'd feel your burning touch again once we said goodbye that night. I never thought I'd see your loving eyes gaze back at me this way, and it all seemed so right. You said our time was over and you had to go your way, but there's something about a true love that the years can't take away, and it feels so good to be home in your arms again. I've been so many places and so very many miles. I've seen so many faces and so many smiles. But all this time I kept you locked away, far from my feelings, far from my heart. I never thought I'd feel your burning touch again once we said goodbye that night. I never thought I'd see your loving eyes gaze back at me this way, and it all seems so right. You said our time was over and you had to go your way, but there's something about a true love that the years can't take away, and it feels so good to be home in your arms. It feels so good to be home in your arms. Yes, it feels so good to be home in your arms again.
That's a very pretty but almost a sad song. And I'm always interested to find out what prompts people to write these songs, or where their head were at the time that they wrote songs.
Where was my head at?
Yeah.
Well, I think with this one, actually, it was a dream that I had. It was just, and just when I woke up, I said, well, that would make a good song.
Mm-hmm.
So I sat down and I wrote the song as though that's what had happened
In the dream. Okay, that's very interesting. One quick question. You've got so many different styles of music, and who or what influenced those styles? I mean, who are your favorite composers or musicians, and you picked up a little from this person, a little from that person. So, who are they?
I guess, let's see, I guess beginning with classical music, Johann Sebastian Bach probably, because there's such I'm just constantly amazed at the logic of his music, the order, how everything just falls into place. And Chopin is like, the emotions that are in there. or something I can almost touch. And Debussy, you know, it's like watercolors to me, and that type of thing. When I write, you know, I try to get that same type of a thing, make it almost something that someone could feel or see, you know, with the music. And I guess with jazz, John Coltrane is one of my favorites, and there's just like an aura that comes through the music, you know, no matter what notes he's playing, no matter what he's playing, I just, you know, something else is coming through there, which is probably the case with all, you know, all great musicians when I think about it. But Clifford Brown, the lines that he plays, you know, I guess for me, I really feel at home listening to that. And
so basically, when you listen to these musicians, you're actually feeling the music.
Yeah, I guess I'm seeing whatever, feeling. It encompasses all the senses for me, you know, when I listen to them.
Was this something that you picked up in your training? You know, you have to teach it, because I remember taking music, and the teacher's like, close your eyes and feel the music. And you're closing your eyes like, I don't see nothing. You know, so is that part of your training, that they tell you to close your eyes and feel the music, or this just comes naturally for you?
I guess that's just something that comes naturally for me. It's just how I experience music, you know, how I experience the world. You know, when I hear like modern music that's written today, like not classical, but what do they call it? Contemporary composers. A lot of it reminds me of like a construction site downtown or something. You know, I can hear hammers and saws and that type of thing. So I always relate music to other areas of my life.
Well, that's very interesting. Okay, we're running out of time here, and I would like to thank you, Kathy, for coming down to be with us on Roundabout LA.
And thank you for having me.
Oh, you're welcome, and I wish you all the success in the world, and I know you're going to make it. And it's just that when you do make that first album, call me up, this is Valeria. I told the store manager at the warehouse to put me in jazz, so I'll know where to go to find you. Because otherwise, I'll be looking everywhere. It's like, where is that girl? I know she's here somewhere.
Okay,
is that a promise?
That's a promise.
Okay. Thank you. You've been with us. I'm Valeria, and our special guest today was Kathy Allman, very talented young lady, and she will be successful, I have no doubt. So we hope you enjoyed our show, and we hope you tune in next week as we present the talent showcase portion of Roundabout LA.
The heart and soul of Southern California. Classic Soul on KGFJ 1230 AM stereo. Classic Soul on Southern California radio. KGFJ 1230 AM stereo.
Hello there, I'm Walter Jenkins, and welcome again to more of Roundabout LA. Well, we're on location here at the Theater of Arts, and my guest is none other than the talented actor, Mr. Roger E. Mosley. Roger, of course, it's good to see you, and of course, welcome to the show.
Yeah, I'm sitting over here, Walter, looking at your notes, because if anybody here knows me, it's Walter Jenkins. I mean, he can do one of those, I remember when, boy. And don't come up here. But
well, that means you better be careful, because I don't want to tell you a secret.
Oh, so you got some good notes there, huh? All right. I'm going to watch my P's and Q's.
You know, actually, Roger, you've ventured into a directing a production here, and that's what we want to talk about here briefly. The name of the production is Subtle, Tragic, and Domestic Changes. First of all, tell us a little about this production.
Well, it was a play that was brought to me by a gentleman by the name of J.D. Hall about 3 or 4 years ago, and as writers and directors do, J.D. and I argued back and forth over the context of the play. I think he won because now I'm, I'm directing. I'm doing his play. But after a long period of time of going over the play, I got pretty interested in it. And not only that, when I came back from Hawaii after Magnum concluded, and we had the writer's strike in effect, I was looking for something to do. And one of the things that I had done was make a commitment to go back and invest some time in the community. And so I had founded the Watts Repertory Company, and the Repertory Company hadn't been as active as I felt it should be. And so as a result, I decided to put some more input back into the Watts Repertory Company, and J.D.'s play was there because that's our format, providing an outlet for black playwrights. And as you know, Walter, if we really want to get control of our destiny, then it has to be through the theater. I mean, if you notice, most of the major films are either based on novels, books, or plays. And so this is the one place where we can have control. I can get the cast I want, deal with the subject matter I want, deal with a playwright who's written the subject matter that I understand, and that's where we're going to experience our growth. So,
when you take on a project like this, how do you tackle? What direction are you going to beginning?
The first thing is to find good people, and I had a concept for the cast, and I've been very fortunate for casting a very good group of people. Some of them are here, and in fact, maybe if you have a little time in the end, I'll get a chance to bring some of those people out, and people can get to meet some of them. Hardworking people who love acting because there's no money in community theater, and who really want to get out and do something. And since there's no money in community theater, except what's generated at the door, I really want to take. Can I do a commercial now? Okay, please come out and see our play, Subtle, Tragic, and Domestic Changes. It's located at the Theater of Arts, which is on Wilshire, 1 1/2 block east of Crenshaw, right across the street from Perino's, Theater of Arts. And there are always tickets available. Let's come down. We'll get you in.
Now, did you tell them what days?
Oh, we're on. Thank you, Walter. See, this professional here. I'm getting excited. I'm on television. Fridays and Saturdays at 8 o'clock, Sunday matinee at 3, and the evening show at 7. Fridays and Saturdays at 8 o'clock, Sunday matinee at 3, and the evening show on Sundays at 7 o'clock. Only $10, and it's tax deductible because it's a nonprofit organization. The Watts Repertory Company, please come down.
Now, you got it out there from Roger Mosley, so get on down here. Roger, another question that I would like to ask here on the directing, and that's you've done television directing also. What basically is the difference between approaching a production like this and approaching a job directing on television?
You know, I'm going to jump on you right now. Because folks out there, when I first met Walter, he was a writer. Walter, when are you going to write a play? Have you written a play?
I'm going to keep that a secret as of now.
Come on, well, I'd love to do. Okay, maybe I'm getting an audition to see if I can be the director for your play. Okay, what's the question again? I'm going to try to qualify to be Walter's director. This man up here, he's got to have a wealth of knowledge that we can use.
No, the question was, you've directed on television, and of course, what I was trying to get to is what basically is the difference. What is the different approach when you tackle a project like this, stage production, as opposed to a project on television?
Okay, a stage production, I'm great. I can give this to you. People, watch this. I'm answering the question. When you're doing a stage production, the stage production is like this because you're talking to all those people out there in the audience, and you're gesturing. But on a film, you're talking like this because that camera is catching everything that you do. So that if I move this way, that camera follows me. I can't do that, see? Do you see the difference? And a good actor and a director has to learn how to make that camera and that actor work together. Whereas on stage, the actor has the freedom to just be himself.
That's a very good answer.
And I hope they keep that jerky part in there because they'll understand why a lot of people from stage never make it as an actor on film. Yeah, there's a big difference. Yeah.
Roger, let's talk a little about your series that just ended. How long was that series?
It went 8 years.
8 years. I would imagine that was quite an enjoyable thing doing a series for 8 years like that. While you were doing the series, were there times that you wanted to do other things that you didn't have time to do?
Oh yes. A lot of opportunities presented themselves, but isn't that always the case? As they say, when it rains, it pours, and The funny case, there was one movie that I was up for, but since the person who got the movie is a good friend of mine, so I don't want to act as though he was second choice, so I wouldn't even bring it up. But a classic example of what I went through was what Tom Selleck went through. He had a chance to play Indiana Jones in the Spielberg movie. It was a big, big, big hit. And he couldn't because the CBS would not let him go to do the movie because they said he had to start filming Magnum P.I. in September. What happens? A writer's strike comes up, and he never worked. And so Harrison Ford got the role. But this is a well-known story in Hollywood. That's why I'm able to tell it, because it's a well-known story in Hollywood. And so that's an opportunity that he missed out. There's a couple other movies that, you know, he missed out on. But that's the price you pay. You know, you'd be happy that you got a chance to do something. Magnum could have folded in 3 weeks, and we could have all been out of work, so who knows?
You know, when the series Magnum first started, did you have any idea that it would be as big of a hit as it turned out to be?
Absolutely none whatsoever. In fact, I often tell this story about my agent. I really had no desire to do a series. I was doing very well in film and movies of the week on television, and I didn't want the weekly grind of a television because I had been told by others that it just eats you up. By the people on the Jeffersons, by Ted Lange on Love Boat, on and on and on. They told me how it just exacts its toll on you. And so I wouldn't even do pilots. And finally, my agent, I had done 2 movies back to back, and my agent says there's opening for, this guy wants to meet you. He was recommended for this role on Magnum by Tom Selleck, and Tom and I had done a movie, so I said, sure, I went up there. He said, they want you. I said, I don't want to do a series. He said, come on, Roger. Tom Selleck has been doing series pilot after series pilot, and none of these pilots have sold. Go to Hawaii, lay down, relax, lay on the beach, get a tan. You see it worked. I got the tan. Get a tan, make money. They'll treat you like a king and come home. The pilot won't sell, and you can go on and do whatever it is you have to do because you've been working on these movies. You deserve a break. So I did it. Well, the rest is history. It's been 8 years out there. That's why the tan is so deep.
You know, it seemed like when you guys did that show, it seemed like you had so much fun. Did you really have fun doing that show?
We really did. Everyone said that the thing that made the show was the camaraderie between the guys. And we were one of the few people that ever, where I had the distinction of being the, how can I say this? The black actor who worked the longest on a dramatic series. Now, you know, the Jeffersons sitcom went on longer than Magnum. So before a dramatic show, I even went longer than Cosby. I think the only people that were close was Mike Warren on Hill Street Blues, but they stopped at 7 years. But at any rate, we said at the end of 8 years, we were the only group that had been together that long that could still all call each other up and get together and go out and have lunch or dinner together because we'd all gotten along so good, so well on the show.
Well, it's like a family.
Like friends, not like a family, because we had such a diverse appetite among us that each of us went our different ways when the filming was done, so that when we came back to the set, we hadn't been with each other all day and all night and gotten on each other's nerve. We would go our separate ways. John Hillman loved his penthouse. Tom loved his volleyball. I loved my basketball and tennis. Larry Manetti loved jogging and the Honolulu Health Club. And so when the shooting was over, we all went our different ways. And then when it came time to shoot again, we all came back probably glad to see each other because we hadn't worried each other to death.
Tell me, since you, while you were in the series, you kind of ventured over into business, and you also became a businessman. Can you briefly talk on that a little?
Oh, yeah. I have a club in Hawaii called Reni's. I named it after my daughter, and it's a disco and live entertainment, folks. So if you ever get to Hawaii, it's spelled R-E-N-I-S. It's called Reni's. Call information, get the phone number. It's only 20 minutes outside of Honolulu. Get your little rent-a-car or your little dune buggy, whatever you have when you get over there, and go on over there and just boogie and have a good time. So I have Reni's, disco and nightclub, and I have TC's hair salon. So you can get your hair up at TC so you can go to Reni's and let it down.
So in other words, you can get pretty at the hair salon and then go and have some fun at the a nightclub.
Right. Reni's in Pearl City.
That's all right. Well, actually, Roger, other than this production now, what are some of the things that you have in mind doing in the future? Directing and producing features, movies of the week, television shows,
things of that nature. I have.
So actually, you would like to do more in the production line, directing and so forth this time?
Oh, yes, Walter. You eventually have to get in the position where you're behind the desk giving a job. We can't always be in front of the desk trying to get a job. We finally got to get behind the desk where we're in a position of authority. That's when we can start to have to say so. So I directed Magnum. I wrote for Magnum, and I have the 2 hyphens necessary to be considered as a producer. And that is get the concept on script and then get the concept from the paper to the screen or the TV camera or whatever. And those are the things that they look for in a producer, because those are the requirements there.
There's one thing I think about often when I talk with you. Long years ago when you first started doing films, there was a gentleman I think you worked with in a film called The Mac. And in fact, I didn't even know you then. And he told me, he said, there's one guy, he said, in this film, he said, you watch this man, he's going to be a very, very successful man in films and in this industry. And I didn't pay him very much attention at the time. And I said, who is the man? He said, his name is Roger Mosley. Well, I'd never met you at the time. And as I watched your career progress, I often thought of what this man said. It's amazing how he had such foresight into talent, you know, your talent. You remember Max Julian?
Yeah.
He's the guy that told me that. And it's really amazing. I think of it quite often, you know, as I used to look at as you progress up the ladder in your business. Now, Roger, you've invited all the people out to come see your play, and you've told them what it's all about. Now, maybe we can meet some of the cast members, and let them say a word or two.
Okay, I like that. Before I say that, though, I want to say something about those people that you named. Max Julian, I could name a lot more people. This isn't self-serving. He doesn't know I'm going to do this, but I'm going to tell you, when we were first getting out there and going through that first bit of interview, the one person who always found you and got you first and spoke to you was Walter Jenkins. I'm really glad to see you on this TV show, because, and we weren't the easiest to talk to because we didn't know what the hell was going on sometimes ourselves. So you were very patient. We appreciate that.
Thank you for saying that about Walter. What else can I say? Okay, Roger, let's bring some of the cast members out and maybe meet them and find out the part they play in the play, and let's take it from there. I'll let you do that.
Okay, well, I got to go get them. They're back in the dressing room. Can I
go back there, take a coffee break, and go back there and round them up. Well, here we are with the cast members of Subtle, Tragic, and Domestic Changes, and I'm going to let the producer introduce each of these lovely people to you. It's all yours, sweetheart.
Hi, I'm pleased to introduce to you Darn Oldham. He's playing the male lead in Subtle, Tragic, and Domestic. And Deborah Fleming, our backstage, front stage, all-purpose stage manager person who's been holding us together. And Donovan Womack, who plays Mr. Mose. There are many wonderful members of the cast that aren't here right now, but the way you can see them is to come down to the show.
Darn, I guess I have to speak louder now. So that, can you name some of the other members of the cast with this group since they're not here tonight?
The other actors who aren't here are Vivian Tan, who plays the sexy next-door neighbor, Catherine Melton, who does the female lead, Raymond Turner, who plays CJ, and Michelle Davison, who plays Mama and does a beautiful job of it. So we have a wonderful one. Oh, that's right, Mark is eating too. Mark Wynn, who's eating over at Beef Bowl, plays Mr. Prentice. I just gave Beef Bowl a free plug too. And we also have a cast that alternates with this cast. We have 14 wonderful, wonderful actors working with us, and I'm very pleased to bring this play and J.D., the author, to the attention of the theater-going public in L.A.
Well, thank you very much, sweetheart. We got everybody. We didn't miss anyone. So you have it out there. You can see all these wonderful people if you get down here to the Theater of Arts and view Subtle, Tragic, and Domestic Changes.
In fact, we're right on. This is our set.
Our pumpkin?
This is it.
Walter's on stage. This is stage debut.
This is it. Where it all happens, right here. So get down here and see it. Hurry.
Please.
You know, I'd like to thank each of you for being my guest. It's been really wonderful. And, of course, I'd like to thank you, Roger, because it's always a pleasure having you as a guest.
Thank you.
And I want to thank you out there for being with us, and please be with us again next week when we take you on another journey round about the big city of L.A. Bye-bye now.
The heart and soul of Southern California. Classic Soul on KGFJ 1230 AM stereo. Classic Soul on Southern California radio. KGFJ 1230 AM stereo.